And welcome back to Leading Edge. Good to have you folks along with me. You know, one thing I've always appreciated about my job and my career was the access that it gives me to people I admire, usually admire from afar. I mean, often people who have achieved great success and who are willing then to share their stories with me and with you, my audience. And such is the case with Coach Larry Tuttle, who joins us now all the way from Florida. Earlier this month, Coach Tuttle announced his resignation as the head baseball coach at Blissfield High School. That's after a 55-year run, all told, as coach, all but one of those years at Blissfield High School. Now, I'm going to take a guess here. I'll bet he's never been introduced this way. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a coach who's lost 430 games. And you're going to say, whoa, that's quite a few. Stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a coach, you ready? Who has won 1,332 games. That is the most in the entire history of Michigan high school baseball. Nobody has won more. Coach, an honor to have you along. Hope life is good and warm where you are there in Florida. The one thing that strikes me about the lives of the great is that they were touched by others along the way. And for you, I want to start. You're at Morenci High School. As a kid, you're approaching graduation. You came from the farm. You assume you're going to get a diploma, go back to the farm. And then somebody, I think it was a teacher, maybe coach, maybe both, a Mr. Landley, do I have that right? Challenged you to consider more education and maybe even a career in teaching and coaching.
That is correct. Coach Greg Lamley, a young guy that I really became to know real well and became a very close friend and student. And he encouraged me to go on to college. And matter of fact, I was the first one in our whole family that had done that.
Isn't that something? And I also find it interesting how some schools, and you know this, Larry, to be true, just become known for their excellence in certain areas. I mean, it's like they're synonymous. I mentioned to you early on when we talked, Bedford High School, back in the day, long being known as a wrestling school. I mean, it seems like they were always powerhouses in that sport, and it largely reflects the head coach. And then you tell me you had an immediate and personal story about Coach Regnier.
That's true. I was teaching and coaching freshman football, and then Coach Regnier asked me to coach wrestling, of which I had no experience whatsoever. And he said, well, that's great because we can give you everything that you need. And the story went from there, and Bill did a great job getting me ready.
You get the reins. You're 1 year at Bedford. You get the reins of the baseball program over at Blissfield. Now, a lot of young men, Coach, give me this, know a lot about baseball. Many feel, or some feel anyway, called to coach. But few, and in fact, in Michigan, none have ever come close to your level of excellence. So what made you so successful?
Well, actually, a number of things, Jerry. The school system itself in Blissfield had great administrations, great support from the school board. But the big thing there was athletics at our school was an integral part of the educational system. It was not separate from, and it was treated equally with the academics. And they did a great job throughout my whole tenure. And that, in addition to being able to work with the youth programs in our community.
Isn't it true that success breeds success? I mean, in Blissfield, it really has become kind of a thing, hasn't it? That if you can, you play baseball. You at least try to play baseball. Did you help influence that in the youth baseball programs there in your town?
We worked with the coaches, myself. I'd have coaches meetings, clinics, work with the coaches of our little league and summer league programs. And then we would have our players, we'd take one day during the spring, have our players in uniform, little league players in uniform, and they would come and our players would actually put a clinic on for our little leaguers. And I think that helped spur the interest.
And in a game, you'll give me this too, Coach, when I watch the game at the major league level, it's all the big swing. Everybody is swinging for the downs. The home run is the king. You tell me a large part of your success. How many? I said 1,332 wins. You didn't approach it that way. You had a different approach, and it was very successful at Blissfield.
Yes, we did. You take a hitter who may get 3 hits and 10 at bat, he's considered a good hitter.
Yeah, 300 hitter. Yeah.
Yeah. And what we did, we really stressed the small game, the bunting game, because I really felt that our kids would be successful anywhere from 80 to 90% of the time just getting the bunt down. And when you can apply pressure to your opponent using the bunt, making them feel the ball, just the pressure of the bunt itself, the small game, trying to take 2 bases up with a bunt and score 2 runs with a bunt. That was one of our big things at Blissfield. And fortunately, we were very successful.
What makes, you've been around it forever, Larry Tuttle, what makes baseball such a great sport? Is it still America's pastime?
Well, I certainly like to think it is. The thing about baseball, which makes it very difficult now, there's a lot of negatives in baseball from the standpoint, you're not going to be successful 7 times at the plate. Yeah. And the kids that can handle that negative, and you can work with them and tell them that's okay. You have to be able to take advantage of the time that you have that positive impact when you're at the plate, be it a hit, be it a bunt, or just moving a runner up by hitting behind him.
Yep.
Just putting the ball in play. I would say the wins that I've been fortunate to have, probably 50% of them have been because of defensive, taking advantage of the defense, be it a walk, a hit, an error, or the bunt itself. And the rest of them, it's pretty tough to get 3 hits in a row.
What does the winningest coach ever do now?
Well, I'm going to get a chance to spend a lot of time with my grandkids and my kids. I really feel like if anybody was shortchanged, it was my son and daughter growing up. And I want to be able to spend time with my grandkids, watch other games in the area, be able to go watch some of the kids that are playing college ball, participate that we've had. And so we'll fill our time up, and I might even sneak over and do a little work on the ball field once I'm retired.
You were known for doing that to your coach. Hey, who's out working on the diamond? No, it isn't some grounds crew. It's the coach. He was known for doing that. My thanks to Coach Larry Tuttle, Blissfield High School winningest coach in Michigan high school history, for keeping us on the leading edge of accomplishing great things while influencing others and shaping young lives in the process. Best to you down there in Florida. Would love to do a baseball game with you. If you get up here in the summertime, I know you're intended to come back up in the summertime. In the meantime, be well, be healthy, and congratulations, sir, on a great, great run.
Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate the coverage and everything that you do for the community with your program.
We try to, sir. Thanks, Larry Tuttle, and I'll be right back.